Have you ever noticed that, somebody can seem to have it all, but still be miserable? I've been thinking a lot, and, I've come to realize that, there's a difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is more fleeting and is more dependent on the circumstances around you, whereas joy transcends that and is longer lasting and is derived more from meaning rather than a moment in time. For example, when you're working, you're always chasing that next thing, that next raise, that next promotion, that next dollar potentially, right? And you may get it and you may not. When you get it, you get that dopamine rush of validation for a few days, maybe a week, but then it's off to the next thing. When you anchor it more towards joy and the longer lasting meaningful pieces, like working with a company where you derive meaning from the work that you do, or working with a team that works well together and supports each other, or you're learning something from being challenged and stretched that you can take forward to build on top of in the future, those things bring joy and aren't just in the moment and fleeting. They're things that you can take forward that you can use to overcome obstacles in the future that you can truly be proud of, right? So that's where, I kind of draw the line between the difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is fleeting and circumstantial, whereas joy is meaningful and longer lasting. You can also think about it from, like receiving a gift. When you receive a gift of cash, you might be happy about it, but, it's just cash, right? It's not... you put it in your pocket, you spend it, you can do whatever you want with it, right? But when somebody gives you a gift and is thoughtful about it, knows you, and gives you something that you truly need, that gift, that emotion, that connection builds and is longer lasting, right? So yeah, when you think about it it's another way to think about it from a gifting perspective. So, cultivating joy is what I want to try to do. And, joy for me comes from potentially a few places. I don't know if it resonates with others. It may. Joy for me comes from faith, because faith is unshakable, it's fixed, and it's something that I can always go back to. It comes from family and connection, for those long-lasting relationships that are meaningful, where you can depend on each other, rely on each other in times of need, and from service, being able to help others in need, because the help that you provide, whether it's donating your time, money, whatever it might be, can live on. They can benefit from it for a long time, and it's something that can bring you joy, or you can find the joy in helping others that are less fortunate, or to even just to help them overcome obstacles. I'm focused on the faith one more than the others, mainly through praise and gratitude. I'm very thankful that I have my son Silas. Without him, I think going through this whole journey would be a lot tougher. The meaning that and joy I'm able to derive from raising my son to be the man that I want him to be, somebody that can live with intent, with good values, and can bring joy to the world, gives me purpose and meaning. And without it, I think, it'd be a lot tougher to be able to fight the fight that I'm fighting every single day, because I want to be there for him in his times of need in the future, to be able to guide him, to be able to shepherd him in faith, to be able to make sure that he turns out to be a good person. Whether or not I'm going to be able to do that, I don't know, but I am definitely thankful for the time that I have now with him and being able to be fully present and being able to talk to him and teach him the values that I want to instill in him. So yeah, I think, you know, when I think about my life, I spent a lot of time chasing, you know, quote unquote success, or my mental model or image of success, which is, you know, just successful, having money, being able to do whatever I want, and, you know, all those types of things. But at some point, not saying that I'm there, but at some point, you know, people reach a number, and beyond that, it doesn't really matter to them anymore, meaning it won't change their way of life. It really won't make them much happier. But they continue to do it just because it's kind of what you do. And that pursuit can come at a sacrifice, whether you're sacrificing, you know, time with your family, sacrificing the, you know, your health, those types of things. And, you know, at the end of the day, no matter how much money you make, you really can't take it with you. So at some point, it ends up being like an endless pursuit and a drug that you're continuously chasing. If you can derive meaning and purpose from it, great. But like, if you're just chasing it for the status, the things you can buy, the nicer house, the bigger car, at some point none of that stuff really matters anymore. So for me, I'm definitely focused on living more with intent, focused on my faith, my health, and my family, and of service. And you know, hopefully anybody watching this can, you know, resonate with how I'm thinking about it as well. If not, so be it. But this is just where I'm at right now on my journey, and I thought I would share it with everybody. But yeah, I don't have it all figured out either, but I'm just trying to reflect as much as I can to be able to help share and help others where possible. So yeah, still fighting hard every day. Thank you everybody for all of the comments and words of encouragement. It means a lot more than you know. I definitely really appreciate it. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.